Okay, so I'm here with Benny the Butcher, who is going to be fighting for the Cage Conflict middleweight title this weekend. He's after coming in on late notice. He usually fights at welterweight. I want to say three of your last five fights have actually been for championships. So this would be 4 out of 6. Pretty impressive for someone with their first 6 fights. So thank you very much for your time. How are you and how are you feeling? It's fight week.
I'm good, Davey. I'm actually feeling amazing. See, no heavy weight cut or heavy diets or anything. It's making a big difference. Made a big difference from or through training as well, because I was able just to eat a wee bit more and indulge a wee bit more.
Yeah, and you can obviously when you're training, when I listen to nutritionists or whatever, they say obviously fight week when you're cutting out the carbs and stuff like that, and you're really kind of dehydrating your body. That when you're fighting, obviously because you're an amateur, taking it at middleweight isn't a problem. Obviously, as you go pro, you're gonna want to be doing the weight cut more. But I think it gives you more time to just focus on the skills rather than the weight cut. Is there some sort of a relief in that? Would I be right in any sort of direction?
Yeah, whenever I found out, because I think they were trying to get me matched for welterweight, and there was nothing really there. And then obviously that fight, Brian Manning had to pull out, I think, or I don't know actually what happened, but it got offered to me then, and I went, happy days, I'll take that. That'll be easier for me as well, and I'm having to sit and try and cut weight, hate cutting weight. I wish everyone fought at their natural weight. It'd be so much better.
In an ideal world, that would be like if everyone just said, right, here's my walk around weight. We're gonna fight within 5 pounds of this. Like
Yeah,
kind of weight. I know one championship do it, but there is loopholes that people can get through. I think
yep,
that is the best way, but because it's prize fighting and there's so much at stake, especially in the pro ranks, you can see why they cut it because it could be the difference of 50,000 or 100,000. But
yeah,
amateur, I think your first few fights, I think, should be kind of at your walk around weight just to kind of
yeah.
learn the craft.
My first two, I didn't cut. I think I cut like something like a kg or something. It was nothing major. And then my second fight, I was supposed to fight at middleweight, and my opponent pulled out, and then the guy was fighting. His opponent pulled out, but he was fighting at light heavyweight. So we agreed to meet at 88. But by that point, I was already about 86 anyway. So I didn't have to cut any weight for it, and just made everything so much handier.
Yeah, I can imagine it does. I can't even imagine. If I see some food, I can't even stop myself from eating it. So I can't even imagine what it's like, especially for you. I would say a lot of fighters, when they finish fighting, have a food complex that they just want to eat everything. Would that be like after a fight? Would you be like, I just want to eat everything in front of me? Do you think the weight cutting gives you like a some sort of a like love-hate relationship with food?
Well, after every fight, I always on the Sunday, because it's usually always a Saturday with fight, I always get a big tubby ice cream and a pizza out of a wee pizza place in the town I'm from, and it's like going to heaven. There's nothing like it.
And when you eat that, how good is it when you actually can have that, enjoy it, and just you're not worried about it then?
So much better. It does actually make it taste 10 times better.
Yeah, no, I'd say it does. I'd say it does. But you're coming up, obviously, it's Cage Conflict. You've been here before. You know what the
Yep,
show likes in the Devonish. They're absolutely
yep,
crazy. How do you feel about fighting on Cage Conflict? Obviously, you like it. You've been there a couple of times before. There's the atmosphere. I just think the atmosphere is electric. I just think it's just a crazy show. How are you feeling about fighting for another title on Cage Conflict?
I'm happy about it. But I see at the same time, Dave, I don't really care about the titles or anything. I just love the fight. Like that's what I always say to people. People are like, "Oh, what happens if you lose?" And I always say, "It doesn't." I just want to go out and fight. I'd fight every week if I could, but obviously it wouldn't be too good for your health doing that. But obviously the accolades and all that, they are nice to look at, but I just want to fight, really, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good because with the title fights, I think, because people say amateur titles don't mean anything. And to me, they don't mean anything if they don't mean anything to the person who wins it. When you see
Yeah,
the likes of like you went out to defend it, because a lot of
yeah,
people like to just collect them and kind of go pro on the back of I've got four
yeah,
belts but didn't defend them. Like Tiernan Loughlin defended it, you defended, Damien McGuigan wants to defend his. I think if people put an emphasis on defending them, then it makes
yeah,
it more valuable. In my
yeah.
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that's true because that's what people always say. You're not a champion unless you try and defend your belt. That's what people say. Like, but I can't understand why people just go about collecting them. But I think if I was to win this belt, I would want to defend it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you did obviously with your last belt. Obviously the results, you started off 3-0, then you lost your last two. So coming back after losing two, like I said, you just
Yeah,
look to scrap. Like
yeah, got to
any,
scrap. Yeah.
like when you go from winning three in a row to losing two in a row, is there any kind of mental thing in you that's like you're beating yourself up, or do you just realize it is part of the game, it's part of learning lesson, life goes on?
I always say it's never a loss; it's a lesson. So that's the way I always look at it. It's the past two, Marco. He rinsed me, that guy, didn't he? But apart from that last fight, I see that last fight I had with James Hughes. I loved that fight because we both just went for it. It was a good. So that's they're the type of fights I want to be having. Just absolute, can just going for it from the get go.
Yeah, it was a crazy fight. And like that, I think Marco, because of Marco's record, I think people overlook Marco a lot as
Yeah,
well, man. Marco is
yeah,
so good. I think it's just sometimes I don't think he performs how he potentially should, but that night he obviously did.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but like that, you're getting another shot. Do you think there'd be much difference in strength between you and Garrett? Because obviously he fights at this weight all the time. Or do you think it's got much of a muchness?
I don't think so. I think we'll probably be around about the same, to be honest. Because I wouldn't be. Before I done MMA, I was big into my gym and all, like a big into like not powerlifting, but I would have done all, just deadlifts and squats and bench press. So I am quite strong, and because I'm not cutting weight, I'm not going to be. My body's not going to be really like exhausted or anything. So I think I'll notice a big difference on fight night, 100%.
Yeah, and I say like that. We're a couple of days away now. What day is it? Tuesday. So we're Saturday away. You're not worrying about a wake up. Not what kind of a relief is it this week not to have that going in?
It's brilliant, what it is. It's made the week a lot better. It's the only thing I love fight camps. I love going in and knowing you're about to get completely ruined every session. And then when it comes to fight week, I dread it because I know I'm going to have to start to really cut out everything and start to just dehydrate myself. So this week it's been good so far anyway. Apart from when I looked in the fridge there and seen a couple of cheesecakes, that wasn't too good because I know I can't eat them.
Um, but with this week going forward, we're not looking past Garrett because obviously you're always looking at what's in front of you. What's your
Yeah,
plan for the year? Because you had quite an active year last year. You fought for, like I said, for like you had three championship fights.
yeah,
What's your plan for this year? Because the shows Cage Legacy started last week, and I don't think they stopped running until the end of March now again. And then
yeah.
April and then May, and like with that many shows on, are you planning on being as active as you can be, or are you going to be more selective about fights you choose this year?
No, I think whenever, because I had my first fight about a year. It's not even been a year and a half since I had my first fight. So that's at the start of my career. So I just want to have as much fights as I can. It's all experience, win, lose or draw. It's all experience. So I think you're better in your amateur career. You are better just going for it all the time.
Yeah, I think so
So
too. I think so too.
yeah,
And I
go
sorry,
ahead
go
there.
ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Just this year, I'm going to probably try and do the same again. Just keep going. Just as long as I don't get injured or anything, I should be as active as I can be.
Yeah, because like that, you have been quite active, and I like your attitude in wanting to fight as many and get as much experience as you want. Because I find it strange when people are at the top of the amateur, when Tiernan Loughlin and Max Lally fought at one
Yeah,
stage, no one really wanted to fight either one of them. And I was like, why would you not want to fight the best
yeah,
around? Like you might
yep,
get rinsed, you might give a good fight, but you're gonna see so many areas where you can improve. I think Conor McCarthy was the same. No one would fight him. Sam Simon stepped in. Conor had a fantastic performance, but Sam said he learned so much for the fight. Do you think,
yeah.
because that pro your career means so much, do you think the top should be just fighting the top of amateur? Because you've nothing really to look like. You lose a fight on your amateur record with no one's going to look into. The only I'll know about it might be the only person. Do you know?
Yeah, I think like why would you not want to? Because there's always that chance, no matter who's in front of who, there's always that chance someone can win. So what would happen if you go on and you end up beating the guy who's say the number one amateur in the country, and then you've just beat him? Why would you not want to take that opportunity?
Yeah, because any momentum they had, you essentially steal from them going forward.
Yeah, yeah. No, 100%. Like, that's what I've never understood, like, people not accepting fights or anything like that. Like, you just fight whoever's in front of you. That's all you can do, really.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fighters, there's a lot of good fights for you out there, and obviously this weekend is one of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, with your gym, you moved locations there. Was it the end of last year?
Yeah, the end of last year. It was just after the last fair. When was it actually? I think it was just not, yeah, the end of last year, probably October time. We moved to Ballyclare, I live in Carrick, so it's 10 minutes up the road. Like, I was traveling probably forty minutes up to Randallstown every night, and then I work a 9 to 5 every day. So I was coming straight home, having to travel, like, come in, get a quick shower, straight up there, back down, and then that was my night over, just bed, and then back at it again the next day. So with it being there, it's 10 times handier. Like, it's so easy for me now.
And has it made it more accessible like that? It's made it easier for you. Has it made it more accessible for other people in the locality? Did you find more new members coming as you moved
Yeah.
because of the location?
Yeah, there was a load of new people came, and then a lot of the guys that we train with are from, like, Antrim, so it's only 15 minutes from them as well. And then there's a lot of us from Carrick that train there, so it's kind of in the middle for everyone.
That's good. That's good. Like that, it makes it easier for yourself. And you touched on there. I'm going to touch on it a little bit. Like you talk about, you work a 9 to 5. We were talking also before this interview when we organized the time. Like,
Yeah,
how hard is it doing a 9 to 5, having a personal life, having a partner, having kids, having family, and doing this fighting stuff as well? Like, how, just for people who don't understand, and especially at amateur, you
yeah,
don't get paid. How much money do you, I don't want figures, but like you put money into it, you put time. Like, how hard is that to try and balance?
yeah. It is hard to balance, like, but the way I always look at it, if it's what you enjoy doing, you can't really put a price on it anyway. But it can be, especially if there's people out there and they're not earning, good money at their jobs. They'd probably really struggle to try and even do it, because you've gym fees, you need to be eating the right stuff and all that there, and then petrol up and down. So I'd say for a lot of people, it probably is tough.
Yeah, it would be because I could imagine, like, I know what gym fees cost. They're rate, they're different varieties across different gyms. But then you've,
Yeah,
like I said, you need to be eating good food. You need to be eating fresh food. Some people take on nutritionists, which aren't cheap either. But if you need a nutritionist, it might be essential, especially going pro. Like,
yeah,
and I know obviously up north is different. Down south, you have to get the brain scan every year, which is a couple of £100 as well. So when you
yeah,
when you see sponsors, the sponsors are badly needed in amateur MMA. And it's mad because you see a lot of pros that are on stages like Bellator and PFL, and the amount of sponsors they have as well, that these wages can't actually facilitate them doing what they want to do.
yeah. It's like I've a lot of people have put a lot of time into getting sponsors and stuff. I had a couple, but then just I'd say at the minute I can't even be bothered, like, going about all that. I just want to focus on the fighting, and then when they come, they'll come. I have a couple of people there that want to, but just because obviously this fight was a bit not late notice, or because I was training, but because I couldn't get matched and I didn't think I was going to get matched, and then that came, I told them just to wait till the next fight, because I don't want to be running about trying to get t-shirts printed and all. I just want to focus on the fight.
Yeah, because all that kind of adds to it. Like you said, trying to sell tickets, trying to get fights, trying to get in contact with sponsors, trying to do this. This all kind of takes away from what you actually want to be just doing. But it is an essential part for some people. Like I said, you don't need them this camp, but in the next fight, you'll have a proper fight camp. You'll be able to do
Yep.
all the proper channels for your sponsors, what you need to do. But yeah, it is. It's going to be a good weekend. You said, like, once you get in there, you don't really notice any of the atmosphere. When you're in there, you just locked in. You can just hear your coach. Is it just like when you see in a movie and it's like Apollo Creed looking at Rocky? Is that what it's like? Just tunnel vision, and then
Yeah,
the crowd drowns out, and all you can hear is Steven and or whoever else may be in your corner.
yeah, but that's exactly what it's like. Sometimes I can hear the odd wee thing of people shouting. It's weird. I remember one fight, someone was shouting for him to calf kick me, and I could hear him, and then he's going to throw a calf kick now, and he went to throw like a calf kick, but I knew it was coming because I heard someone from the crowd shout. It wasn't even his coaches or anything, and I went, happy days, that sorted me out there.
Well,
But
if you're fighting against Fight Academy, you're always going to hear Patrick McAllister and Liam Shannon
yeah,
shouting. But you notice that at regional shows a lot that the crowd is obviously going to be a lot of their team, and you see it happens everywhere, not just cage conflict show that there's people coaching them, but there's only the two of you in there, and the only two of you can decide to fight. But look, I'm gonna let you go. I want to thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. It's going to be a pleasure to watch you fight again. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone you want to shout out before you go?
just shout out to my coaches and my teammates. That's it really, and then shout out to obviously Liam for putting me on cage conflict and giving me the title shot. We shout out Sigma Fitness, keeping me big and strong. So he is.
Perfect. You need to be big and strong going into this fight, off the upper weight class. But any fight I've watched you in, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you again for, I think, the second time. And I will see you on Saturday night, and best of skill this weekend.
Yes, Davey, thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you as well.
Perfect. Thank you.